right, so it is day 3. Actually, it might be day 4. Because I had half a day yesterday, not feeling very well. And another half a day today. It's 4 hours. 4 hours. Yeah, I just wasn't able to do as much work as I wanted to on this. But I have made some progress. So here, we've got our art collection displaying. And what I can do now is I can click on this little button. I can upload something. Let's pick something that I haven't uploaded yet. Press this open button, and then there's no loading icon or anything, but what's happening in the back end is that I am uploading the art to my server, and then my server is creating 2 versions of it. One of them is a thumbnail, and one of them is the full version, and it's putting both of those versions of the photo onto Amazon's image storage S3 solution, because they have super cheap storage. And I've never worked with S3 before and thought it might be fun. So that is working. And I've also got this kind of flexboxy layout here where this scrolls, the section scrolls if you have enough images, and it should also resize to fit the screen, though I'm in full screen mode now. The main problem that I'm running into now is just how to get my components talking to each other. I guess it's not so much a problem as it is like an architectural question. So I haven't worked with web components a lot before, and I also haven't worked with just pure vanilla JavaScript HTML stuff before. These are the foundational web technologies. I'm used to working on all the stuff that's built on top of that. So on the one hand, I've run into problems because things are sometimes a little bit more work than I'm used to. Sometimes they're far less work than I would have thought, because modern JavaScript's a lot of cool features built into it that you don't need any big frameworks for, like fetch or proxies to monitor arrays and objects for changing and stuff like that. And on the back end, there's this whole system that I have no understanding of pretty much at all. I mean, I've worked a little bit with building APIs in Node.js and like slapped a couple of things together, but I don't understand that particular stack for building APIs. Unfortunately, most of the APIs that I've built in have been Java-based. It's weird because I'm not good at Java either. I'm not good at anything. So I don't understand like that backend stack at all, and I'm not trying to. I'm trying to do as little work there as possible. So actually, let's take a quick look here. This is my project, and it's a little bit messy right now. My public folder contains the front-facing app, and the source contains all the back-facing app. And here, this is pretty much all of the custom code that I had to add in order to get that double S3 upload thumbnail compression stuff to work. So not a lot, really. This arts service for storing these artifacts was generated for me with feathers. So next step, I'm working on the controls for these components. So jumping back into the code again, let's start from, where is in public, index.html. All right, a little bit messy again, but this is like this is the HTML for my app inside this container. We've got a navigation component, dwell nav, which exists over here. Wait, where does it exist? Yep, over here. And here we're just creating a template element, filling its inner HTML with style and the actual HTML to render that navigation bar. And again, this is this left navigation bar here. And we are creating a custom HTML element, and we are throwing that HTML into this custom element, grabbing a reference to the nav bar. We're observing the logged in attribute depending on the presence of whether or not we have, for instance, where's my dwell nav? It's not here, it's here. Whether or not there's a logged in attribute here. That tells this component whether or not it's logged in, which tells this component whether or not to render, you know, should we show a login button? Should we not show a login button? Should we show the art collection button? And I'm watching that attribute logged in for changes, and depending upon the change, all I'm doing is adding a simple class and removing that simple class from that login bar as a whole. And then I've designed my CSS such that adding that one logged in class hides and shows things throughout the navigation bar. So right now what I'm dealing with is I've got like another kind of art collection. This is this box here, this art collection component. And it's processing uploads and whatnot. And I'm trying to get this component, or trying to think about getting this art collection component speaking to the art artifact component, which is this little thing. So just some questions I have, like the art collection component is currently managing its own state, and each of the individual art artifacts, they're all stored in one array inside that component. And I'm listening to changes on that array. So if I add an element to that array, then this art collection component knows to plop in another one of these. But now these are going to have their own kind of functionality. There's going to be tagging and deleting. And I'm just worried about, not worried, I'm just thinking about some technical stuff. Like if this component deletes itself, that kind of contradicts the state management scheme that I've already thought about, which is that this whole component, like it just has a simple list of these things in it, and it renders all of these individual art artifacts components depending on the state of that list. But if this component deletes itself and removes itself from the DOM, it would also have to like bubble up a message to this component to, you know, update its list. So I'm just kind of, a lot of this, my goal is to make this as simple as possible. But sometimes it's not easy to make something simple. So that's what I'm thinking about now. That rant went on for longer than it should have. So next, what I'm thinking about doing is just figuring out that particular issue, getting my basic architecture right. So I know how my components are talking to each other, and I know how my application is managing its state. And once I get that kind of in order, work should be easier from here on out. When I'm adding the music collection and the quotes collection, I should just be able to duplicate that pattern. But now I'm like getting that pattern set. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Another update tomorrow. Feeling a little behind now, so I hope I'm able to get some more stuff done tomorrow.